Hello and welcome to episode 73. Big weekend. Some ups and downs in the footy, in the racing, and at home. So, how are we, boys?
The last bit's throw me.
Yeah, throw me as well.
We're going to get real deep, guys, so buckle up.
Yep.
Yeah, man, I'm good. I don't reckon I've ever been more exhausted than, like, Sunday. Last night when I cracked my first home beer of the night, I actually had 2 in the afternoon, or 3. But when they finally gone to bed, I had Saturday, Lenny's birthday, and people into Mother's Day. Big lift. Like a big fucking lift. I was cooked.
That's an enormous weekend. Was majority of it at your joint?
All, except for the sushi train, which we're not sure if Emma would want us to talk about or not, so we're going to leave it there. But if you want to find out what Emma thought about said sushi train, I'm sure if you find some sort of family restaurant websites, you'll be able to find her review.
That's probably enough said there.
That's pretty. What about the first Mother's Day? Would have been for...
Yeah, it was beautiful.
You know?
Left Michelle at home and went to the footy with Mum and watched Richmond West Coast. What an absolute pleasure.
How good's that?
Could not have been a better day. No, we caught up with Mum and then Michelle's family on Saturday. And then, yesterday was took Mum to the footy. It's tradition. Me and my brother have done that now for almost 10 years now. So take Mum to the MCC and watch a game of Richmond. Sometimes it's on Mother's Day, other times it's the weekend before, the weekend after. But good to see Richmond get a win for her for once, other than Freo and Mundy kicking goals after the siren, which is just vivid in my memory from about 2015.
Old girl's a Tigers girl.
Yeah, massive Tigers fan.
How's
Any of
that
the kids
happened
go with her, or are you all Pies boys?
Nah, my brother's Don's. Me and the old man are Pies, and she's Richmond.
How does that work?
I don't know. It's just who you grow up barracking for, I guess. At least they're not turncoats. That's the main thing.
Did Arch do the right thing Sunday?
Yes, he did. Yep. We went out and got a few things on Saturday morning, leaving it last moment as per.
Well, I wasn't going to bring that up because I don't want to throw you under the bus, but you put yourself there. Jesus Christ, Paps, the boy was rattled Saturday morning. I've never heard him so rattled ever. He was a mess.
I wasn't a mess.
His voice. He was obviously chasing hard. We had those doubles galore, so I was like, can you just figure out these doubles?
No.
What should I do? And he's like, I'm just here, I'm doing that, I've got to get this, I've got to do that.
So can we preface this by saying that the little man spewed from 11 p.m. till 5 a.m. on Friday morning, so that was grim to start off with, and I was very sleep deprived, and you wanted to take trebles and fourfolds, but thankfully we took doubles and trebles and got a small result out of it for your subs. But yes, I was definitely rattled.
If I want to snap one from the forward pocket, I'll ring Tom and I'll ask him. I'll say, what would you do in this situation? If I want to have sicko all-ups and multis and exotics and all sorts of shit throughout a Saturday, I ring up the expert. His name's Michael Pratt, and he's a part of the show.
Yeah. I try and snap him from the pocket, though. That's me as well, because I can't get too far up the ground. I'm not too fit, Got to stay close to the goals. But good day Saturday, good day Sunday. Paps, how was your weekend?
Yeah, I was fine. I don't know what I was going on about at the start of the show. It's all good here. But don't worry, I'm not gonna give you a depression story. I'm actually fine, but pretty quiet for me. I stayed in Sydney, trying to get my heel right. Any recommendations how to fix heels would be fantastic. Bone healing stuff. But other than that,
can I say on behalf of all Swans fans, I pray to God, Zeus, Allah, and Bilbo that something helped you, because my God,
it was tough watch. First half was very disappointing. I think when you go to last week and we started really well against the Giants and then come up against Essendon, and no disrespect to them, but we obviously wound ourselves up against Giants, and disappointing we couldn't do it against Essendon. So very disappointing. Obviously in the first half, second half was better, but it was a tough watch. The efficiency going forward and at goal has cost us probably 2 games this year. So it's hard, but you've got to be able to win those ones, and we haven't, unfortunately. So very disappointing.
If AFL football was had been bet on historically heavier, and therefore there were stewards involved, there would honestly be stewards' inquiries to the form. It makes no sense. It never has to me. How the fuck do you beat the Giants well? Then the Giants go down to Geelong and beat Geelong, whilst we lose to Essendon. Me and Punt, it's been doing my head in since I was 16.
It's bizarre that the Giants have beaten Geelong and Geelong. I think it's like 5 of the last 6 years. It's just
there'd be an inquiry if it was like, if it
bizarre.
was a horse race. There'd be a massive inquiry into the Giants. Like what happened to the Giants last week? That would be the inquiry.
I think with AFL and sport, I think like the psychology of sport is very different to horse racing. I think you can wind yourself up. Obviously, for us, the reflection of us is that we don't want to be like that. We don't want to be playing on emotion all the time. It doesn't work, and you need to be able to just perform all the time, not off a bad loss or I don't know. For instance, like you look at the coaches that have been sacked the next week, they win. The psychology of that, winding themselves up to win for the new coach, coming off a bad loss. I think the Giants were well under the pump. They would have been wound up like clocks this week. I think that goes into it a lot. But yeah, it's disappointing. We obviously, there was a lot of emotion in the Giants week. We were under the pump and obviously couldn't deliver on the weekend. But I think that has a lot to do with it throughout sport. NRL, you look at it, similar stuff as well. So, yeah.
I asked a mate, and he scoured the internet. One team in history, Carlton, in like the 40s or the 50s, started 3-6 and won a comp. This mate, sometimes you might know, like you might have a mate like him. You ask him a question, and he sort of doesn't give you the answer you want. You ask him again, and he sort of gives you the same answer. And then you ask it again, and then you just say, "Mate, that's not what I was asking, but I'll take what you're giving me." He couldn't find me any other teams that have started 3-6 and made finals. Do we know anything about this other than what my mate Chat GPT is telling me, or like where are we at as a club this season, and then can we take anything from the weekend's game? Like internally, is there anything taken out of that performance, that trip?
We were 0-6 and made finals.
Like that's not good enough from ChatGPT. I asked him 6 times different ways. You know what he kept saying to me? He kept going, making the finals after starting a season with 3-6 is rare, but it's not without precedence. One notable example is the Carlton Football Club in 1945. After beginning the season 3-6 record, Carlton then won 10 in a row. Blah, 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 blah. Then it said another instance is Brisbane Lions in 2024, although they didn't start 3-6, which was the question, mate. ChatGPT's not sweet. You made finals from 0-6.
Yeah,
Toys aren't out of the cot completely yet.
2017, year after the grand final, we lost as well. But yeah, look, it's obviously tough. I think, Brisbane last year, Brisbane were very similar, I think. Pruddy, you probably know, would you?
Yeah, I reckon they were like, at best, like 4-6 maybe.
They were 13th at one point.
Yeah, definitely not. We definitely still think we can make finals, and obviously we've got a few guys coming back, but I think sort of these games in the next month will probably determine that. We've got teams all around us. Carlton, Essendon was around us. They're probably 8-point games, so if you can win the next 4 sort of till the bye, I think we're still in the hunt for sure. Like if we won on the weekend, we're only a game outside the 8, so it's a very even season. I think back in the day, the leagues weren't so even, and these days it's so even, so it keeps us alive. And we've got some handy players coming back in the next few weeks, which will help for sure. Even some experience. I think Robbie Fox, Cunningham, and Tay Adams, they've got some experience for sure. I think they're probably 500 games of experience right there, so that definitely helps when you've got probably 4 or 5 guys that have played under 20 games. Although they're playing okay, but obviously experience is big.
Putting the psychology thing to one side, what are, or if you can share, what are some tangibles that you take from like that game, combine that into the Giants game, the last sort of 2-3 weeks, and go, this is what we're getting right, this is what we need to fix to be competitive and be better?
Yeah, I think probably if you look throughout our season, our best is really good, but our worst is really bad. So you look at that game in two halves, and you think how we start, what we do in the second half. That was better, but yeah, obviously our the intercept marks and stuff going forward in the first half was very noticeable. I think bloody my nan would have noticed they were taking a fair few intercept marks. That was a really disappointing result because last week that was what we were really good at. Giants were the number 1 intercepts in the league, and we stopped them, and then Mackay and Reid come out and do what they did. So that was disappointing. But I think in the second half you can take that we come back and we put up a fight. We probably should have won in the end. We've kicked 8-15 and missed a lot of goals that we should have kicked, and you probably win the game. So you start like that and you come back and you miss those goals, it hurts. But that's footy.
Who's impressed you that's come into the side? You obviously mentioned that there's a number of experienced heads and probably blokes that definitely would have started in the side. Of those who have got a game, who's probably impressed you the most?
I think Corey Warner's improved dramatically over the sort of the pre-season. Although he's a bit quieter on the weekend, but I think he's improved a lot. Caden Cleary, he's been really good, although he doesn't get the touches and the probably the high score involvements, but to be able to come in and play a role and put pressure on and play the structures really well, he's been really good. But yeah, I think obviously Bicey's the one that's probably stood out and got the praise that he's got. He's been really, really good back there. He's a very offensive half back, so when we're playing really well, we're defending really well, that's when he'll really shine. And obviously he can get found out when we're not going so well, because that's not his one wood. His one wood is running off half back and doing that stuff. But yeah, I think as time goes on, Bicey will really be a good player. I think he's going really well at the moment to be able to do what he's doing under 10 games. So look forward to him getting on a fair few games of experience.
And the boys take out of the weekend, obviously the second half was a lot better than the first half. Do you use that as motivation going into this week? Is that something that you draw on, or you just leave what it is, take the positives out of that game, and then just move on?
Yeah, you've got to touch on what happened in the first half for sure, but also positive. You can't be all negative, and we've got a 6-day break. You've got to move on pretty quick to Carlton. Sort of a good thing. You sort of don't want to dwell on it too much. So had a meeting today and got on with it, and we'll obviously touch on Carlton and a little bit of stuff on Wednesday as well over the weekend, what we can improve, how we want to play Carlton. But it's a tough test. They're coming off a good win and another bad loss for us. So Friday night footy, it's the ones you want to play, and it'll be good.
Saturday's game, the last thing we're going to talk about is a dear friend, part of the show, part of the team. He's in the WhatsApps. I love him. Justin McInerney, the Cross. He does a lot of things right. What I love about him is how hard he hits, and the thing he's added to his game this year, in my opinion, Tom, is his gut running. He got to a fucking lot of contests, pockets of each end of the ground, and he's a little bit dirty, which I love. His goal kicking's always been an issue. Then he decided when the game was in the balance to kick one from fucking 65 out. Unbelievable.
Oh, how good did he get it?
I think the three of us, and you stop me if I'm wrong, I think the three of us, along with a lot of Swans fans that love the man and love the club, think that could be the fucking moment that sort of brings him along and gets him going. He then proceeded to miss two semi-sitters. I want to finish with a bit of technical talk so you can embellish us with that. But firstly, he looked to me sounded to me like he's hurting post-game with his actions. What's that like to deal with when it's you? What's that like to deal with when it's a teammate, but he's more than a teammate? Like your dear friends, you're actually really, really close. What is that situation like? The highs are so high, the lows are fucking pretty bloody low.
Yeah, I think obviously he's going really well. Probably since he's come back in the midfield, he's been good. But yeah, I think when you've got to look at obviously in first he'll be like, I've missed that goal, or I've kicked one, I've missed a couple, and you sort of blame yourself and think it's all your fault that we've lost that game because I've missed those goals. But it's obviously over a 4-quarter game. We've played shocking the first half. And he would have a little bit of blame, I suppose. I think everyone sort of does. If you're a defender and your opponent kicks a goal, or if you're a forward and you miss an easy goal or a goal when the boys need it, sort of thing, you obviously have some blame. But you're in a positive way or a sort of way to get you out of that mind frame is to think about you put yourself in that position to win the game or keep the boys in the game. But yeah, and then you got to think about, we didn't lose that game because I missed that kick or I missed that goal or my man kicked that goal. So it's all about the whole sort of 4-quarter of footy. But yeah, I think he would have been a bit flat after the game, but he's having a red hot crack. He can never change never question his effort or his willingness to win because he does that very well. And yeah, he put himself in some good positions late and unfortunately missed them. But yeah, that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. Sometimes you kick them and it feels pretty nice when you come on the end of a couple and you win a game for the boys, or get the last goal or set up the last goal or something like that. But yeah, it would have been feeling a little bit, but yeah, you got to think about the 4 quarters of footy, and that first half that cost us the game, not the last quarter.
Has that something that's evolved internally in football clubs? The way that's sort of handled and addressed through a week after a result, like the Emma Murrays of the world, and like, is that actually made sure that he's handled it, he's okay with it, he's sort of dealt with it, and he can push on, as opposed to, say, like 20 years ago, it's just like, keep your head up, mate, you'll be right.
Yeah, I think it has for sure. Speaking of today, he was pretty sweet about it. Not much affects him, I don't think.
Well, some stuff does. I mean,
yeah, footy-wise anyway.
Footy-wise, he's sweet.
But 20 years ago, it would have been probably pointed at him saying he did cost us, the boys, the game, sort of thing. But yeah, it's definitely evolved, and you work yourself out, and it comes with experience as well. You just sort of get along with it and move on.
Yeah, technically. Just indulge me. I feel like our man is just in between, like, driver and sandwich. He doesn't know, like, what swing he's gonna, like, put on that leg. He's got, like, that low, like, below titty height pass. That's his, like, stock delivery. So when he starts to go, fuck, I got to kick this a long way, it just gets a bit lost. I think he needs to go full Matt Suckling on that thing and just, like, bend it right around the corner.
He can't kick round corners. There's only some can do that. Like, he's just got the high ball drop, low ball to foot. That's what cost him. That snap, he could have... For people at home, you'll see he got high ball drop, and it gives an opponent time to tackle him. But he's one of the best kicks in the team when he's got time and space, because he can compose and hit the kick. But his improvement is in around scramble, quick kicks. If you see him around scramble, he'll lift it up, the high ball drop, and takes it's only a half second, but that can cost you ball to foot and the snap or something like that. But I might have to do some work with him about small forward craft.
That is good. That is fascinating and outstanding insight, Paddy.
Yeah, that's to bake your mate after trying to, like, just navigate around what mindset he was in and go, no, he can't kick round corners, was just perfect to start with. But
I was thinking the Suckling, just because he looks like he just loves, like, the 2-step, like, cruise to pass. Like, when he whacks one 35 metres into the corridor, picks out, like, a really surgical target, it's quite relaxed, and he just looks like he's a bit, like, fucking revved up when he's got a bang on.
Yeah, he's true. He doesn't have much of a... He's probably 40. On the run, that was all right for him, because he knew he didn't have to get it through on the full, but when he tries to kick it from 50, he's trying to roost the hell out of it. But, yeah, it's funny.
What a legend.
I was into him today as well. I said, mate, you've been practicing goal kicking or what? A few weeks in a row now, like, I haven't seen you do anything. He's like, fuck off, I was doing it. No, I didn't say it. He goes, yeah, because you're in fucking side doing rehab all day. North's an interesting one.
Do you reckon it's
your mate? Did he burn him or what?
Oh, mate, my mate burnt my mate.
Yeah, he should have just, like, taken 3 slower steps to make the bloke make a decision, fed it over the top.
Yeah, Steve-O's a good kick as well. He would all into the point. Yeah,
but he's a left footer, so if you go to him straight away under the pump, all you have to do is look like I'm going to fuck around with it here. So you come to me or go to him, but you can't do both, buddy. And then bang.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. I reckon Steve-O even could have just either hit a titty, or he would have just kept running and just kicked the point. But yeah, it was tough to watch.
10 years ago, Steve-O would have got that guy right under the rib cage and killed him. And the other bloke might have had a flying shot at goal. But if he does that now, he might get 6 weeks.
They've been all right north the last sort of 3 or 4 weeks, I think. I think they're building. I think you look back to us back in, I reckon it was a hub year. We only won 4 or 5 games, but we were in most games. I think that's a really good sign. Obviously, they've had a few blowouts, but a team that can stay in a game, and you're going to lose a few along the way when you're young and inexperienced, like they are. Inexperienced, sorry. They've obviously got a few older heads, but as you go on, you learn how to. It's pretty much just learning how to win and what to do in the crucial moments. And I think that will come for them. It's a good sign for them, I reckon, that they're in against some good teams. Brisbane won the flag last year, so it's down in Tassie, but they've been in some games they probably should have won. They should have won that game. They missed a lot of easy goals in that third quarter. Clarko nearly broke the windscreen in the box at one point. I reckon.
Yeah, it's good.
And
Because I think like you're going for them because your mates are there.
yeah,
But I think most like Praddy and I was going for them because they're shit, and I'm cheering for them to like they're the underdog, you know.
yeah.
And you're like you're just urging them to go good and knock off some of these sides they shouldn't. They got that little tattooed, and he's not little, that girthy tattooed forward. He'd be great in a better
fucking
side.
tank.
Oh, he'd be good.
Their tall forwards, like,
Nick Larkey's a gun.
please fall in love with some chick from Bondi, man. That defender who just takes intercept marks, and he took him on the big stage, and then he went he went corridor.
Yeah,
like,
that was nice.
Big boy stuff.
Pray for Comden that he doesn't get injured because he's had a horrid start to his AFL career.
Is that the backman?
Yeah.
Oh,
Charlie.
that switch inside was like real big.
He's from down Gippy way.
Is he?
Yeah, he's
fucking
from,
big
Warwick
boy.
or Trout. No, he's down Gippsland. He played Gippy Power. Big Zeri in the ruck though. He's the man.
He's the engine.
He's a big Adonis. He was grabbing it. He was doing everything. He would have had 10 clearances.
Yeah.
He's a good player, I reckon.
Great player.
He's
And he bullied. Remember he bullied the Adelaide Crows ruckman. Just really, he's very likable.
No, they've been good. Paps, you're right. I think it was the start of the year they were in a game with the Dogs, and then Power in Port Adelaide. After the Power had started to put a little bit of form together, I reckon they only lost by like 15 points or something like that. They're definitely improving. You can see their improvement. If you're a North Melbourne supporter, as compared to a few other teams in the league, there's a lot more upside there, and you can actually see where you're going. They're not going too bad at all.
Yeah, for sure. The showdowns.
How good was it? And how good? I guess this comes back to what you spoke about at the start, the psychology stuff. Doesn't matter where they're at or how they're going. Obviously, we don't ever talk about betting on AFL. I would love someone, though, to do the research for me because I don't think ChatGPT's up to it. The record of the plus in that game must be great. You know, like when the Crows are going shit, they turn up and they compete against the Power and vice versa. They always do. It's always a great game. They just show up and it's on. Yeah. It's a shame it's on a Saturday night, eh?
Yeah, or there was talk that they'll have to get a Friday night or something soon. Thursday or Friday night. Yeah, it was a good watch. And it's the best rivalry for sure. I think built up the best because there's so many. There's just two town. It's households actually over there. Some of them barrack like the partner might have been going for Adelaide, and then the husband goes for bloody Port Adelaide. So it's good.
My uncle's completely mental Port Power fan, like mental.
Is he?
Yeah, Uncle Charlie. It's not right, but he's a gem. Adelaide, though, just while we're talking about the showdown, they're legitimate.
They're going well.
And that big, thick forward. Jesus,
God,
he's good.
He's an Adonis, and he runs like a sub.
Yeah, I heard he could be a ruckman.
Yeah, sub 6 2K, which is.
Is that? Have you ever done a sub 6?
No, I get like 7.
He'd be like he'd have to be 100 kilos.
Yeah, 110 kegs, I reckon he is. I do like 640.
What does the cross do?
630ish, or actually 620. But yeah, like sub 6. It's sort of different though. Like if they're probably doing that, like I think he's around 6 to 610. But like it depends if that's on track or not, or track or grass. Or I doubt it would be on grass.
Yeah, what sort of going are we talking? Firm 2, soft 6?
Because on the athletics track, mate, I'm telling you, it makes a difference. If you're on grass compared to athletics, I reckon it's good 15 seconds. Oh yeah, but it's obviously
wind assisted, all that stuff.
110, but he'd be 100 to 110 kilos, and he just absolutely mows him down apparently. But he was, if you look back a couple of years ago, he was skinny, did his ACL, got massive, and now he's just a big thicky. And he looks scary as well. He's got the beard. Yeah. He's a bit of a. He's got a bit of. You know what
he's got a bit about him? Fraser Garrick.
That's Jake Waterman. He's got a lot of Fraser Garrick about him too. Old Jakey Waterman.
Collingwood. Jesus Christ. It's going to be a long winter because they are very, very good. They rested 5. They went over to Freo. They got the job done.
5-day break.
And they're all just so up and about. My father-in-law over here Saturday, like he was watching the Swans game with me for 3 minutes in the first quarter, and it was like I was this destitute poor man on the street, like the sympathy he had for me. Like when 12 months ago, like they didn't make the final. Like this. Just how like happy they all are with themselves, but they are going great, and I think they're very hard to beat. But how good are they, do you reckon, Tom? Right now,
well, it's handy they can rest 5 players. If we rested 5 players, we'd have to get some from the VFL squad. But it's they've obviously done very well. But yeah, full credit to them. Freo's, they'd be disappointed with that. The thing is though, like if you look at the stats, 90% of the time Collingwood would lose that game. Every stat they lost, the inside 50s. I think they were scoring at 64% per inside 50. So I think if you're going, I think the number, like if you go over 45%, 45 to 50% score per inside 50, that's like really good for a game. And they've gone at 64, which is extraordinary with a small forward line.
But that's just Collingwood, like.
Yeah, so it's they've done well there, but sometimes you got to win dirty, and that's the way they did it.
Did you even enjoy that, Pratty, or was it just kind of like, putting the washing on, make the kid breakfast, like it's just another box tick?
Live, I watched the last 4 minutes. I was head in getting the mailbag preview show done and dusted, so I didn't have to worry about it on Friday. I think Freo have been really struggling against forwards that can mark this year. Like Jamie Elliott took them to town. I reckon the week before Gunston took them to town, and they're really struggling with blokes that can mark the ball overhead. And I reckon if they fix that part of their game up, I think we would have struggled a bit more, because I think when we were kicking the ball there and kicking him in front of Elliott and whoever it was, we were just getting marks and kicking goals, and that's what led to that efficiency. Perhaps I don't think there's too much that they have to turn around to be a really good football side. And like you're right, getting dusted at home in prime time is not good. But yeah, no, the Pies are going good. But there's an expectation there that, like, I think we have to get to a prelim. If we don't get to a prelim, it's the complete not a waste of a season. With how
yeah, but
going.
I just sort of live in hope and justify like the pain that's coming to myself as someone who, I hope she's not listening, my beautiful partner, but I hate them, right? I hate them. And I think that they're going to be very hard to beat this year. But I make myself like sort of tolerate that by maybe this year they're great. Maybe next year they're still pretty good. But then there's got to be like 4 to 6 years of shit where they suck. And I just fear that with Collingwood that somehow they won't, It
hasn't happened since about 1990 when we've been that bad for a long time. It's been 25 years now, really. Yeah.
1990 and now it's 35.
35 years, sorry. Yes, you're right, Dico. 35, not 25.
Well, that's AFL, boys. Wrap that up. And you've plenty of AFL talk there. It was good. We'll move to NRL.
Oh, my God, Tom.
NRL is flying at the moment. I don't think I've ever seen so many good games of NRL in my life. That many games have been up by 14, 20, and the teams are coming back and pegging it back. Like the Bulldogs on the weekend was a great watch. Crichton, he's a specimen, isn't he?
Well, that win was bloody impressive because they were down 16-0 half-time.
Yeah, 16 or 20 or something like that.
In Canberra, like, sell out. Christ. The Dogs are legit. They're very, very good. Big kick out with the rinse on top.
Yeah.
Very scary, man. Oh, God. They don't even have a halfback, really. They've got a 5'8" in Burton, but he's probably a centre, and they're still that good.
Yeah. Bloody, Gus Gould, when did Gus Gould go there? About 4 years ago?
Maybe a bit before that.
Yeah, right.
Gutted the joint, still, brings them all in. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good operator. He was at Penrith, wasn't he? Didn't he? He started the Penrith Academy or something.
Yeah.
He's very, definitely a good operator. I thought Crichton's second half was unbelievable. Him down that wing, he set up that many tries, and he got a try himself. It was a good watch. I watched the mini on Sunday morning. It was good.
I watched that live. It was bloody, it was on. Vicious. Rugby league at its best. And it's great to see Crichton be just so big and agile, yet thick, as we head into the Origin months, because it was basically what the weekend in rugby league was for me was a bloody confidence building, made me feel safe ahead of Origin because Crichton was enormous. But I think I reckon I saw the greatest performance I've ever seen from a player in rugby league in my life in Latrell Mitchell on maybe it was Saturday night. Was it?
Friday night.
Friday night, I reckon.
Friday night in the rain. Holy shit! Like he carried them the whole game. He like that little thickie that basically just like receives nut into holes and is quick. Dean Mariner, maybe. Yeah. The Latrell showed him the sideline and said, if you're stupid enough to try and run around me, go for it. And he just he was so good all night long. He's stripping blokes. Oh my God, he was.
Yeah, and then that's when he stripped the bloke, and then he took him on. No, he stripped that bloke. That bloke got it, flicked it to the trail, and he busted through. They called it out, and he wasn't even out.
Yeah, so he set up another. That's what I'm saying. I'm sort of giving him that play in my head because it was real. And then to finish him off, he shapes to run. So somehow, he is capable of doing that. He's done it against the Storm down here. They just hung off him and he just slotted one.
Yeah, it was extraordinary.
In the rain.
It was unbelievable. And then just the real calm celebration, I'll do this all the time.
I reckon the ball hadn't gone over the 30-metre line. He was facing the other goalpost. Steph Curry.
Like Steph Curry 3.
Oh. Was that his first game back?
He came back. It was his first, he didn't play the previous week. And they got beat by the Knights Magic Round. They were really poor. And Wayne Bennett did Wayne Bennett things. He said a few little things publicly about them, And it's and he changed guys around. He put Jai Arrow in the front row. I don't want to get his name wrong, but I probably will. Kama Kamitha. He went in the front row and he trucked nut all night long. He was enormous. Whoever it was who played in the front row for them, they were just really, 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 really good. And then his little cheeky try at the end.
Yeah, that was good.
You'd love that.
I didn't mind that.
Yeah.
That was,
28th of May too, by the way, State of Origin. It's 2 weeks away. How good.
Is it? When's it come out, that team?
I don't know when it comes out. The first one's in Brisbane this year, and then we go to...
Perth.
Yes, Perth, that's right. And then finish in New South Wales.
The Bears as well, Dicker. New team.
The back, PVL. He's done it.
Really?
Yeah, selling Rose Hill, but he's got the Bears back. I've done a deal with Perth, WA government. Who knows what it'll end up looking like, but I'm pretty sure it's coming in 2026, which is not that long away in football terms.
Next year.
Perth will get around it. They're a big sporting state. They'll get around them for sure.
Yeah, I think they're about to announce a coach. I think it's potentially Brad Arthur, who coached Para, or maybe Big Sam Burgess, who played in the South Premiership with a broken cheekbone from the first hit up the whole game. Warrior.
Yeah. Fuck. It'd be better for the comp without having that bye too, with there being that many teams. Be better than
I don't know if it will be though. In a way, it's so brutal what they do, and the season goes forever.
Yeah, it does. It's a long season, isn't it?
Yeah.
Be interesting. They're 25 rounds, 26 rounds, isn't there?
Plus Origin. Some of them go and play
Origin.
internationals after it.
Crazy.
The Storm. Jesus Christ! Did you watch any of that?
Nah.
I just watched it from a Supercoach point of view. Pappen hasn't scored 4 or 5 tries.
He scored 3. I think he got the first 3 across the line. Hat-trick.
I've got a funny story about this, actually.
Yeah.
The Crafts has had a same-game multi. So if Storm wins 64-0, what do you reckon, say if you knew Storm won by 64, what price do you reckon Coates would be to score a try?
$1.10, $5, $1.
Crufts has taken him at $1.70, hasn't scored a try. The shortest try scorer on the market, and he's taken him and hasn't scored. Cost him multi.
And he put Pappy over twice.
Oh.
Yeah. Pappen hasn't scored 36 points for himself. Scored 4 tries and then conversions.
He scored 170 or something in Supercoach.
Crazy.
Coates had 3 tries.
Yeah, 3.
One of the boys, this bloody goal, because I've got a little NRL group, me, Joel, and Brucey and Cross, and our man helps us out on the NRL, who's very, very sharp. And Joel messaged in, I think the Storm were up by 30-0 or something, and Joel messaged in, geez, I wish I did a same game multi for Storm v West Tigers, would have had that many try scorers. And then Crust goes, no mate, shut the fuck up. I don't have Coates yet.
I'd love to know what legs he had.
Yeah.
That was the only thing that was grim for New South Wales fans is that Cameron Munster is just airborne. And he looks fit. Yeah. Looks very dangerous. He scored 1 try. I don't know if he scored it or put someone over. He dead set gave a don't argue to Terrell May, who's one of the thickest, angriest front rows in the comp. Big boy. Big boy.
Anyway, where should we head now? Go to the races?
Yep. Should we eyes on ponies?
Eyes on ponies. Bit of a interesting day. Learnt some valuable lessons again. Just another one. Add to the list. Stick to your own state. And the other thing that I've gone to.
I think that's not. Don't be too hard on yourself there. That Gold Coast track was unique.
I heard a number of trainers say, and I think Gollum was one on the radio this morning, that you heard horses come back and they were like coughing and wheezing because of all the kickback in their throats.
Kickback, yeah. He reckons that the pad on top was just shifting that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting. That, like, the track's cooked when the margins are just just so far. It was getting worse and worse throughout the day. Like Antino, well, even Beedman, that was impressive run, but like you just don't know because there's young horses kicking back and they're just giving up. So I think you got to be careful of that. But Beedman, geez, it was impressive. We'll go to Gosford just quickly. I sort of wanted to be just off pace forward, sort of about lanes 2 to 5 on the corner and getting to lane 6 to 10 in the straight. But yeah, I thought Davana was really good. I've actually black booked that. I don't know.
It was good.
It was very good. Arguably could have nearly won the race, I reckon. Just sort of held up.
It's a short straight, isn't it? Like
it's 200.
You're kind of watching your horses. Like I watched them all on Saturday. Got the little alerts going a few times. Like, well, we're building here, but if you didn't sort of make ground for 35 metres, the race was over for you.
Yeah, there was a ride in race 2 or race 3, I reckon. In the highway, I don't know if it's a highway, but it was a very good ride by AB Collect. She was worse than midfield, but got going on the corner about 400 out, and just that's the key to that track, I reckon. If you're worse than midfield, you've got to get going at the corner and do what she did. It was a very good ride. But Davana was probably the black booker. Yeah, there's 2 out of that same race. Hertzfield's a grab. Once further, sort of a little bit of a spell. Not sure where it's going to go, but it was wide and really good and worse than midfield, but you didn't want to be on the day. It'd be interesting to see where that goes, 1,800 or 2,000. I think it's they might even go to the same race, Davana and them two. So, be interesting to see what they come up, but I thought those 2 out of that race was very, very good.
What about Raikkonen? You backed it, great bet,
yeah.
Really good, like really strong win. That was first up on what looked to me to be a testing track. It had the soft 5 win, but now it's got a soft 7 win. It's added like to its CV, versatility track-wise, and it's returned in pretty strong order. I thought it was a really nice performance.
I sort of pulled it back a bit on the units just because of that soft 7 deck. I was a little bit worried because if it was soft 5, geez, would have had a little go at it for sure. Even Beedman at Gold Coast, I was a cat. I know it was short odds, but I think it got out to 220, but I was just scared of that heavy track.
Bro.
When you horses that haven't, you just tail between the legs. But anyway, that's a learning. If they're not too short, you suppose you can still at least have a 3/4 bet, a half bet, whatever you do. But yeah, Raikkonen very good. I thought it would improve first up with Bourne because the way he's turning them out, and definitely did that. King of Rosso was actually good in behind. I don't know what Sherry was doing going back to the inside there. If you watch the run, I wouldn't have won, but it was very interesting going back to the inside in inferior lanes. That was miles off Raikkonen. That's probably a black booker. It's not going to be the best horse, but it'll win a Saturday off-season race for sure. King Rosso coming up, I reckon.
Anything else from Gosford? The big races?
There's not much.
What about though?
Well, Les Vampires was actually really good. Oh, thyself was good. Les Vampires was Hannah Roper grade me up because
you know her first name. Got to wait till AB slaughters one on him, then he'll have her name first and middle name for you next week, guys.
Is it Alicia Collett?
Alicia Collett.
Yeah, I just it was Hippo to Constant. Winona.
Oh, the actress.
First time 2,100, but yeah, it was too good. I actually had a little fun bet on it myself, to be honest. No official play, but it was good to get the win. But I was just a coward again.
Hey, look, you did a good job there on Saturday. Big winner in the last.
Got the quaddie. Didn't pay much, but got it.
We bet in Adelaide, Praddy. What are your thoughts on your behaviour over there?
Yeah, no good. I'm not sure. I really want to hear what you think about the Giga kick ride. I'm not sure from that gate they could have done too much more, and in hindsight, with the potential no leaders in that race, maybe it was probably a leave alone job from barrier 12 and most likely going to get worse than midfield. But The other bet, I'm not too worried about it. See you in heaven. If it turned up at its best, it probably would have gone very close in that race. So happy to have that bet over again at $14 or so. But yeah, the Giga kick bet wasn't the greatest bet of all time.
It's not like it started $3 and did that. It was really steady. But like hindsight's 2020. I feel like reading the market now, they were kind of saying we don't know.
Yeah.
Because really, if you were confident here and you were a massive swinger, this horse starts $1.80.
Yep.
Well, what do you reckon?
I just hope
drew
that
a
Mark
gate,
didn't
what
go
does it
too
start?
fast on it and has injured it and ruined its prep, which has happened before. I thought it was half plain. It loomed up. The winner went way better than it. And I'm
She did
telling
give
you
it a
now,
peak.
for
JK
free,
did
the
give
winner's
that a
not
peak,
very
so.
good.
Yeah, that was very... She sort of rode for... Well, she sort of was slow away and then rode for luck and got it, didn't she?
Yeah, 100%. I think she realised that if she had to loop the field, and she said it afterwards, Jamie, but if she had to loop the field, she may not have got there. And so she had a crack and it all paid out for her because the seas parted and she was never held up and ran home nicely.
So when you look at the data, though, Pratty, you're saying you're happy with the ride.
On Giga Kick, if you look watching live and not knowing how slow they were going, I'm not a jockey. I can't tell that level of detail. Looking back at it now after having looked at the data, no, you're probably not. However, what I'm saying from a betting point of view is that barrier 12, likely to not show too much intent. It probably wasn't the right time to have 2.5 units on a horse at $2.70. That's what I'm saying. If it's $4 or $3.50, I'm never questioning my decision there. I think that's a great bet. But at $2.70, it probably wasn't the right time to pull the trigger.
I reckon this race has raised more questions than it's given us answers. Reserve Bank, we know this horse. It is not that good. It's now going to be a stallion. So God help us all. 4, the winner. As you said, blessed. A very slow tempo of the race. But the questions out of this race it just confuses the shit out of me. Dripper's gone awful off a very slow tempo. It was like 3 wide, no cover in stages, but like no excuse. Stretton Angel, pathetic. Charmstone off winning a Group 1, awful. Climbing Star, again, plain. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't trust these horses. Giga Kick, I think the mail was they're pushing on. This is a kick-off to a Brisbane campaign.
Yep.
I think you're going to see sort of $6, $7, $8 if it goes around up in Brisbane. I think they'll spit this race out, the market, form-wise, wherever these horses go next time. I don't know if it's like a sign of the times, Paps, where these sprinters are at in our country right now, or this is just a weak edition of a once great race.
Yeah, it's I think it's interesting. Giga Kick's definitely not the same horse, but I don't know about do you reckon the SA Carnival sort of dropped away a little bit in a way?
Like people think, I thought this the whole time, and I reckon it's like got lost in the narrative. What PVL's done has not hurt Victoria one bit. It's killed these other states. Brisbane survives for like 3 weeks of a year.
Yeah.
It's about to get warm, This was Adelaide's time, and it's, there's decent horses running for ridiculous money at Gosford and Hawkesbury.
Yeah.
It's what I would say to Giga Kick's defence, Pratty, is like, and why I think you could sort of hammer the ride a little bit. He's gone 11 flat from the 800 to 600, then a 10.92, 11.12, 11.16. That's not his best, but it's not that far off. You know what I mean? It's very fast.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Watching it live, it didn't look as bad as when you have a look at the data. You're like, okay, they did go fucking very slow.
And just like if you got that one wrong, if you watch the Phillies Classic, the 2,500 metre Group 3 for the Phillies in Adelaide, race 5. Mark Zara at his absolute best. He shows some intent, chase the dreams. If you want to watch jockeys playing jockeys and just watch what happens, he pings. He knows that J Carr's going to Cavity Bay and she'll be way more positive than people think. He lets her go in front of him. He then gets off the fence and just closes the door on her and just says, you can stay in the coffin till I'm good and sweet to go. And that's all he can control. But what he did was just like absolute jockeys to perfection and showed his absolute class. What ended up happening was might have been Tom Stockdale and Wolfness just kept trucking up 3 wide, no cover, 2,500 metre race, and it sort of hurt Mark's chances, I think. But I love watching the great riders go to war like that, like real tactical chess, sort of like in at 60 kilometres an hour. And watching Jay Carr and Zara go at it on Saturday over there was pretty cool.
As a person who had a reasonable wager on Chase Your Dreams on Saturday,
Well, Tom Stockdale's the problem.
That horse doesn't run up the backside of Let's Deal the winner. It could have won.
Yeah, it should have won, I think, in hindsight. And I think it's madness going 3 wide no cover at 2,500 metres when you don't know if you're going to get it. He could have held the fence, Zara, and had a smoother run, but he was playing jockeys with Jay Carr and he outsmarted her. And he's entitled not to expect someone to like come up around him 3 wide no cover in that sort of race.
Yeah.
I think it just sort of upset the horse a little bit. It laid in bad on him, but I think also what happens sometimes like that, Praddy, is the jockey, he's trying to beat Cavity Bay kind of thing. Let's Deal's been outside leader the whole race, so he's kind of going, I'm going to get past you, where's Jamie? And then with 200 to go, he's going, oh fuck, I've got to catch this prick still, you know? Yeah, if you back that horse, I'd be pretty crook about it, but I didn't. That's stiff, man.
Well, that's Morphettville. Few good rides, few questionable ones. We won't touch on it, but we'll go to Caulfield.
Allegedly.
Where, geez, there was some unlucky sort of... we had a few little multi-plays that could have landed, and geez, I got very excited when the first two were home. But overall, Dicko, how did you think the track played, and what came out of the meeting, mate?
Oh, I thought it was the best Caulfield's raced in like 2 years. I think it was assisted by some of the tactics and the rides being more aggressive and the tempos more genuine. There's a good day's racing. There's good horses. There's like, if I had to buy one sprinter, sort of 1,200, 1,400 metre horse, I'd buy one out of the Caulfield meeting and not out of the Adelaide meeting, which had a Group 1 in it. We'll get to that later. Let's start with race 7. I want to know... I don't think Praddy was watching it. He was still running around DFO Essendon trying to piece together some type of a ensemble at this point.
I was at Airport West, thank you very much. The world's shittest Westfield.
Paps, where'd you watch this race, and at what point did you think we were home with Saban?
I was watching horizontal while I was out and about. I had the phone kick sideways.
Saban settles just worse in midfield, tanks like 7 wide, Rosemont Silks, Seamus Award. It's not going to stop, surely. It wants further. Little crunch late. Everything was there to say, here we go. I don't know what it would have traded in run. I'm glad I wasn't there.
Dicko, the same thing happened as what happened to Chase Your Dream at the end of that 2,500 metre race. Was it about the 250? It just ducked in a little bit and it just lost. It just lost a tiny bit of momentum, and that's what fucked it. Absolutely.
And the Warwick Nabil Cup winner, I think, in Angry Skies, got over the top with Celine Gaudreau, who's riding out of her skin. She's doing a great job, Celine, but she really jammed us all here.
Yep.
I handled this race so badly. It was... So what we did on Saturday, for context, is there was the favourite race 1, there was Medina race 4, there was Saban race 7, there was War Machine race 8, and there was Pivot City race 9. Now, for differing reasons, 2-year-olds, not sure, short enough. Medina, scary map. I think they're going to get back further than they think. Is he going to get out? War Machine, car park, Saban gets back. Can we win from back? And then Pivot City was going to be back and buried, and you just couldn't sort of step into it, so you wanted to have something running into it. We had a bunch of doubles and an all-up. And the first 2 won, so we got something back straight away. And then we were into Saban. And, So I didn't have anything on it, which was a blessing in a way, perhaps, but I had the winner marked $31, and it jumped 61 Betfair. And it would have been a result. And
Ouch.
That's crook. Race 6... That Mary Eliza, did you expect that to go forward? Is that why you...
No, I don't know what happened. I don't know where Peter was. I don't think Peter was in Victoria. If he was, he wasn't at Caulfield. The Moody horses, including Saban. Saban was a pair closer than I thought, or 2, which turned out to be like where the winner was, where I thought he was going to be. But Mary Eliza, I had back, worse in midfield. He revved it hard. And I thought, this is really bad. It's really bad. And it was. They went suicide. This is the fastest race of the day to the 600. This horse sustained that speed and held on. Really like digging post holes late. From the 800 to the 600, Mary Eliza, 11.76, 11.34, 6 of the 4, then a 12.18, then a 12.68. So like gradually slowing down, but the margin had been built Deserved to win. Great ride, particularly outstanding from PG Me and Kathy Kalman. Executed well by the kid who's claiming. And just one that we have to cop straight on the chin.
It was tough for Mary Eliza, considering the rest of them that were up on speed all dropped out.
Yeah.
Second,
full credit
third,
to old PG Moody and Kathy Coleman. Tactically noused, very smart, aggressive. Kids riding great, especially on Saturdays. He and Logan Bates look the two progressive apprentices in Victoria right now. I'd rather have Logan as it stands, but time will tell. Race 4, Paps, Medea. It'll head north to Queensland, I'd say, off that. Progressive filly. Really nice win. It sort of got flushed out the back of the surf a little bit mid-race and was able to peel out and make ground and win really, really well. Justified the market support. The market loved it and it won really, really well. The closing splits from like the 1,000 home are delicious. This horse is really, really exciting. If it gets on a wet tracks up there, I'd be a little bit nervous about it. I think the 2-year-old's all right, but knowing them, and I'd say they'll aim for the stars and I don't know where they'll land. I think he's probably done his job and I'd put him away, but he looked very green and raw and very much assisted by the ride Daniel Moore gave him. He put him into the race, which made J Mott take a sit on Latin Boss, which I think was the deciding factor in the result. And then in the straight, he needed every bit of D Moore's strength and experience to get him over the line. I'm worried about that.
Didn't know what was going on, does it?
Yeah.
I thought of the 200, it was just going to drop out of the screen with how much he was having to control its head and how off its head it was going. He rode that real well.
Yeah, we won't talk about race 2. I think we were very, 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 very stiff not to win, but we didn't. And then we'll talk about race 8. Now, this horse, War Machine, I think's a group horse. The question is it a 1,200 metre horse or a 1,400 metre horse or a mile horse? That I don't think anyone knows. The ride from J Mott was fucking brave, strong. The tactics from Lindsay Park were brave and strong. A little bit like Mary Eliza, this horse could have been worse in midfield and protected from a wide draw. That's the racing sort of expectation and sort of tradition, I'd guess. You'd say something like that. Unbelievable ride and a really, really big win. Did at both ends. Comfortably the best performance we saw there on Saturday. And I think this horse is destined for huge, huge things. That's War Machine. I'm in love with this horse. It should have won it at Mornington. It's since been moved to Lindsay Park. I think they'll improve it again, and I think their tactics will improve it again. And they did that on Saturday already, but I think there's more to come with this horse. He's only second up there. Just the question is, what trip does it go to?
Will they aim real high, do you think?
Well, they've won a benchmark 100 now, so it's sort of there. It's sort of there.
Yeah, fair enough.
There's some horses where...
Does it go to the Stradbroke? Does it get in?
I don't know. There's some horses where I think they sort of... Not them, but stables will take like a really nice winner of a 64. Well, say they did with Medea. It won a maiden or a 64 at Pakenham, and then it's in a benchmark 70 at Caulfield. Now, does it go straight to a group race, or does it go to benchmark 78? These are the questions you've got to answer as a stable and as an owner. You've got prize money. You've also got prestige and pedigree with fillies like she is. She's only got so long to get the job done. She's a 3-year-old filly. She turns 4 in August. She's going to go for the tippy top to fatten up that pedigree and make her really valuable. He's just a gelding, so you've got options. When you win a benchmark 100, you're kind of there. And then Prancing Spirit in the last. Pivot City was a car crash and hard watch. Prancing Spirit. I wanted to say this on the show. Whoever you are, you big, thick, market-moving giant, or you people are, that had the kahunas to back Prancing Spirit late with Stephanie Haitley on from the widest draw in the race, full credit to you. You're so brave and you're so smart, and very, very impressed. Nice win, should have won at Mornington. Nice horse. That's its benchmark 84 out of the way though, so it gets harder to place now.
Nice, mate. Anything else, boys, from Caulfield? Pratty, you got anything?
Out of race 7, I thought Ambassadorial was enormous on speed. I thought the rest of them dropped away. I thought it hung on pretty tough. Was chatting with Jay Dickens this morning. Tight track. If it can potentially get out and draw a lowish barrier and lead, please lead. It might go pop because it's deep into a prep, but I think it's worth it if you can get north of $3 and it goes to the Valley or Mornington or somewhere like that.
It'll probably go to
where the rail's at
Sandown, I'd
6.
say. Where there's a few Saturday meetings coming at Sandown.
Yeah, well, that might be a little bit scarier, but yeah, if it's later in the day, it's above $3 and you know it's going to go forward. I think it was very tough compared to the others that were on speed that dropped out of the TV screen, basically.
Nice one.
Horse to follow from Caulfield, boys. The Milford. I don't know if it's named after Anthony or Lisa Ann, but Jesus Christ, it was good first up for Lindsay Park there on Saturday. Tucked in, well off the speed, hit the line super. I think it's in for a really nice preparation. It's a 1,600 metre, 2,000 metre horse, so it might not be second up, might be third or fourth up, but Milford returned huge.
Nice. Boys, huge episode, AFL, rugby, racing, Mother's Day. We touched on a whole lot there, so it was a very good episode. Hour and 15 minutes. Thanks for coming. That is episode 73, boys. Is it, Paddy?
Yep, episode 73, and the show will probably be about 48 minutes once I cut out all the stuff that I have to.
Yeah. But thanks for listening, and bye for now.